who the hell we think we are when we do something like that.
What's up, fight fans? This is the Combat Connection, and we are live on the Cageside Press social media platforms. Eddie Law will be joining me momentarily, but we've got a lot to talk about here in the combat sports world this week. First of all, we're going to get into the UFC Fight Night card last week from the Apex between Tatsuro Taira and Hung Sung Park in the main event. Tatsuro Taira looked fantastic, coming back from the loss to Brandon Royval. In the first round, really what impressed me the most about Taira was the offensive striking. You know, previously in the past, he's been known as a very great grappler, someone who does his best work on the ground. But early in this fight against Park, he stung him with a right hand and then dropped him again with another one and showed that he is improving dramatically on the feet throughout each fight. So I think Tatsuro Taira is really someone that we've got to keep an eye on moving forward. And in my opinion, someone who's going to be a champion in this division one day. I can't wait for Eddie to come on here momentarily and talk to me about it. But I really think Tatsuro Taira is, I was thinking from a little bit, it was Muhammad Mokaev, right? The dark horse, the young dark horse of the division. Man, I really wish Mokaev was around so those two could have fought each other. It would have been two tremendous grapplers going against one another. And it would have been interesting to see the striking battle between the two because I think the ground games would have been nullified. But for Tatsuro Taira, I think he's probably one fight away from a title at this point. And I think that win needs to come over Brandon Moreno. Having a win over a former world champion to me right now is the thing that Tatsuro Taira needs to be aiming for. If he wants to be a champion at some point, I think getting these 5-round fights under his belt, this one was cut short, obviously, second round here. But getting 5-round fights under your belt, moving into these championship fights when you're going to be doing that in the future, you got to get the cardio experience. You got to get the experience against top flight competition like Brandon Moreno, who is as tough as they come. Brandon Moreno is going to be there and in those 4th and 5th rounds where we haven't seen Tatsuro Taira yet. I think that's really the next thing for him. I need to see him against a former world champion, someone who's been there at the top of the division for a long time. And see what he does. He fell up short the first time around against Brandon Royval, who obviously had a great fight with Joshua Van, but couldn't get it done himself in that contest. So it's going to be interesting for me to see how far Tatsuro Taira goes. I think that he is potentially a champion, has the makings of a champion in the future. He's tremendous on the ground, and he's going to be a matchup nightmare for a lot of guys who are predominantly strikers in this division. So Tatsuro Taira gets a big win, submission in the second round over Hung Sung Park. And for Park here, he really couldn't get out of first gear. Early in that first round, he was stung, like I mentioned, and put on the ground. But, from there, he was controlled in round 2. So he really got outclassed not only on the striking, but on the feet. And this was a short notice performance from him. So all credit to him to step up here. He was supposed to take on Steve Erceg here coming up on one of these cards here shortly. So Hung Sung Park comes in on short notice, takes on Tatsuro Taira, but Tatsuro Taira proves that he's a level above, and it was a tremendous win for the Japanese prospect, Tatsuro Taira, who at 26 years old looks like he will be a champion here in short order in this weight class. But moving on down the card, we had some tremendous fights this week, one of which is Mateusz Rebecki and Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan, the sheep farmer from Scotland, got it done. A big upset win as a plus 200 underdog coming into this one this weekend. Mateusz Rebecki got that big win over Orlabai, coming into this contest. That was a fantastic fight in and of itself. But this one was an absolute bloodbath from beginning to end. Both these guys stood on the feet, traded in the pocket. I do not believe Mateusz Rebecki shot for many takedowns in this fight. I'm going to check the statistics here. Yeah. 2 takedowns for Rebecki, 0 for Chris Duncan. Both of these guys got, Chris Duncan got 95 total strikes, while Mateusz Rebecki was there for 123 in a 3-round fight. That is a tremendous pace that these two guys pushed throughout this contest. Now, Chris Duncan busted him up early in the end of that first round, and Rebecki was bleeding from the nose and then had a cut above the eye as well. He was bleeding for a significant amount of time, and I think if it wasn't due to some of the visual damage in that contest against Chris Duncan last weekend, he might have came out victorious. But after he'd been bloodied for 2 rounds, and there was some very close back and forth rounds in there as well. I had it 1-1 going into the third. All judges, 2 judges had this one 29-28, and 1 judge had this 30-27. I'll have to talk to Eddie when he gets on here. I did not see this 30-27 for Chris Duncan. I thought Mateusz Rebecki won at least a round. I had him winning that first round. Chris Duncan coming back and rallying and winning those next 2. So great performance by Chris Duncan, who continues to impress in the UFC. And as someone who came off the Contender Series with that massive knockout to Charlie Campbell, hardcore MMA fans were really like, wow, this Chris Duncan guy could be somebody. He's known as a grappler and has big one-punch power as well. He's won 4 of his last 5 contests, 2 of which of those are submissions. So he's very good. He showed us again this weekend. He can hold his own on the feet against some people. Now, if he's against a guy who is an elite striker in this weight class and he can't take him down, that's where his matchup problems come in. But for Chris Duncan, he's a guy who's going to be able to take down most strikers as long as they don't have tremendous takedown defense. And then against grapplers like Mateusz Rebecki, he's a good enough athlete to win fights on the feet as well. And he's one of the toughest guys that there is. So Chris Duncan, to me, in terms of toughness, is an upper echelon fighter in the UFC on the roster. And right now in the lightweight division, he's somebody who's going to be on the up and up, moving up into the rankings here potentially at 155 pounds. So Chris Duncan, with an impressive performance, moves his professional record to 14-2 as Mateusz Rebecki drops down to 20-3 in this contest. Rebecki was a minus 220 favorite coming in here. I was really disappointed with the performance. 2 of 6 on the takedowns, but he was tough. He bit down on the mouthpiece, and this was a tremendous fight. Fight of the year contender potentially. And honestly, the fight before this was another one that was great as well. These could have been fight of the year contenders if they were on separate cards, but now they're battling for fight of the night. So it was hard. There are 2 fights for one of the first times ever won fight of the night coming last weekend. So I think that both of them deserved it. I wish that event had won. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily. Here's Eddie. All right, Eddie, we've been talking about Tatsuro Taira and Hung Sung Park over this last weekend. I was saying that I was really impressed with Tatsuro Taira, and we had 2 back-to-back wars leading up to that fight that really made this card worth watching. My first question to you, I touched a little bit on the Tatsuro Taira fight. Do you think this kid has the makings to become a champion in the future at the weight class?
It's hard to say off this fight, no? It's Park came on short notice. He was supposed to fight this weekend, not last weekend, and a completely different opponent. So it's hard to say that Tyra's going to be even has the makings of it. But it looked really nice, to tell you that much. Not to mention it helped see a little bit of a mean streak. I don't know if you saw it in the media day stuff. Park coming in on short notice against a completely different opponent, said he was going to finish him in the 2nd or 3rd round. And I think they told Tyra that Park said that. I looked at him like, come on, son. Get out of here with that shit. Right? So I expected what happened on Saturday. I totally expected that to happen.
Yeah, we both predicted him by sub. So
yeah, so that's what we expected to happen. Would I say he's ready? No. Now, if you give him somebody in the top 10,
I said Brandon Moreno. I want to see him against a former world champion in a 5-round fight. He just fell up short to Royval, who had obviously a really close clash with Moreno himself. If Moreno's not booked, I think Tatsuro Taira versus Brandon Moreno is a really fun matchup. And I was saying that I wish that Muhammad Makayev was still on the roster as well, because that would have been a good one between 2 grapplers. But
I'm okay with that.
You think so?
I'm okay with that. Yeah, let's make that happen. If they can make that happen, it's a big test. Now, you put you at the risk, cracking dude and kind of killing his momentum, right? And in a time where the UFC has no stars, no real big stars. Not that Taira could be one, but if you're thinking about going to Japan, Taira's the guy you'd want to take over there.
And Eddie, would you rather, if you're the promotion, would you rather have a guy like Steve Erceg who gets pushed early and you find out, oh, maybe this guy doesn't have the makings of it later, or a Darren Till, or would you rather have a guy get tested early like Tatsuro Taira against Brandon Moreno before he gets to the championship, so you know kind of what you're getting from him?
Tested early. Definitely tested early. That's what they did to Brandon. That's what they did to Pantoja. That's what they did to everybody that's been a champion. Even Royval, right, who just keeps falling short over and over again. But they tested those guys, and they passed with flying colors, and they clearly became champions for quite a while. So, people want to shit on 125 or whatnot, but still.
Someone's asking, are we posting press conference interviews?
Press conference ain't until there ain't no press conference this week, and there's one next week at 319. We'll definitely post that for you. Yeah, won't have them. They don't. Oh, are you talking about the media day stuff? That will be coming to our YouTube page 100%. That is coming tonight. It's just they take their time sending that over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was about to say we most PFL, UFC, we're on top of it mostly for all media days and everything on our YouTube page. Go check out our coverage there. But Perlez here, I want to address this though, because some fans weren't even going to tune in. Right? They don't know anybody on the card. They're like, man, this isn't really worth it. And then you get that fight between Rebecca and Chris Duncan, and you're like, wow, this is why we're fight fans. We tune in every week for this reason right here. And I also talked about the Brenner and Ribovics fight that, we don't see fights get 2 Fight of the Night award bonuses on the same card. But, kind of on these cards, in my opinion, where there are no names is where we get some of these standout performances that we remember and new names are built. What was your opinion on it, Eddie, going in? Obviously, we weren't too high on the card, but I thought it was one of the better cards I've sat through in quite some time.
It's the FU from the UFC going, you guys want to shoot in the Apex? Check this out. No, but that's more of the fighters than anything. The Rebecca fight, I didn't expect it to get that bloody, but that was fun. That was cool. Mm-hmm. Now, I kind of knew it was going to be a rough fight just off the fact that Rebecca just not blindly, like on purpose. It looks like he blindly just throws himself face first into everything, which is how that happened. But it was dope to see that, man. It was great. We had like 3 potential fight of the nights in that one. That one, what are they talking about? That one for fight of the year? Mm-hmm. It's really wild. But, big ups to him and Duncan for making it happen.
Yeah, and the Danny Silva fight was a good fight too, but that Rebecca got hurt early. He was winning that first round, in my opinion. They got busted up over the nose, and through the rest of the fight was leaking blood. I was saying earlier, I think it was a little bit of a visual for maybe why he lost one of those rounds, but one of the judges had it 30-27. I had it 1-1 going into the final round, and I thought Chris Duncan did enough in that final round. I thought they got the decision right, but were you surprised with the 30-27 that was out there?
For the Duncan fight?
For Duncan.
That was stupid. The only worst one that we had.
I thought at least one round went to Rebecca.
Just one, right? And so that was weird. But no, you had me thinking about the one I felt that was insane. But yeah, no, I was a little surprised, but I don't expect the right guy won the fight. I will put it that way.
Yeah, I think so too. What did you think about Esteban Ribovics and Elvis Brenner? I thought that was a fun fight as well. Esteban Ribovics there gets the unanimous decision victory over Elvis Brenner in another absolute war. Ribovics is a guy who has really high potential, in my opinion. We've seen him have highlight reel knockouts in the past over Terrence McKinney on the UFC No-J card, had a great performance there as well. This weekend goes to war. What do you think about Ribovics and how far can he climb? The one thing when I look at him is I think he's a little bit undersized for the division.
That's a good point you make. He is a little bit undersized. I know, he probably doesn't want to cut to featherweight. That'd be kind of a rough cut for him too. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see him try it, right? With a good nutrition, go work with the PI, whatever you got to do, but give it a shot and see what it looks like. But his power it's hard. I think it would be hard to bring that into 145 and actually keep it. So we'll see. Dude, honestly, I was surprised. I was convinced about Ribovics being a legitimate guy at 55 against Zellhuber. Like Zellhuber, and I know last time we saw Zellhuber, he looked like shit too. Yeah. Doesn't know how to move his head worth a damn, but and he's all one shot, one hit, one everything, no combos whatsoever. Ribovics ain't that kind of guy. Ribovics is the kind of guy who's going to put as many punches as he can on you and as many strikes as he can on you, as much as possible. So yeah, fun fighter type of guy. What I don't like is that he has a strategy, but there's not much of a defensive one when it comes to Ribovics. It's just go. I want to see some defense out of him, some setups and all that. And then we could talk about him being a contender. But as of right now, in terms of being a really, really fun fighter, to 100%.
Yeah, I was telling some of my friends, I think he's one of the most entertaining fighters on the roster. Do I think he's necessarily a master at one specific discipline? Is he a world-class striker? Not necessarily. Is he a world-class grappler? Not necessarily. But he's a tremendous athlete with aggression and somebody who bites down on the mouthpiece and tries to finish fights. So one thing I do want to mention about the last 2 contests that we're talking about, 3-round contests, 15 minutes, both of them had 4 fighters land over 100 significant strikes in the contest, Eddie. We don't see that every day.
Oh, for this one? Yeah.
For this one and the last one, both fighters went over 100 total strikes and significant.
I think a lot of these guys are getting the memo. Like, you fucking perform. Because, look, in this whole overall scheme, and, whatever Dana White wants to tell you guys, I don't want to say Don Davis, he don't count, but whatever Dana White wants to say and whatever, the talking heads are saying, like, oh, MMA is as popular as ever. No, it's declining. It's declining with a lack of stars and a lack of performances. Let's be real, okay? So right now will be a great time for someone to step up, put on some good performances, and be like, hey, look, I'm here. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, we don't normally get what we got last weekend, right? With these Apex cards, we're sitting through them. It's like, man, what are we going to get? And then you get back-to-back fights like that are fight of the year contenders. And you're like, holy shit. But one thing, Eddie, I don't want to see Esteban Ribovics ever fight in the Apex again. He's too entertaining. That's like putting Robbie Lawler or somebody in the Apex when they just create absolute carnage. Now, the 400 people that were in attendance were clapping for him, but he could have, been on that Nashville card or been on some type of card here in the States that would have brought, some excitement to some fans, in my opinion. Yeah.
No, I mean, and again, I'm one of the few that says that I don't mind the Apex, but I can get in there. I think if fans could, if you didn't price out everybody, because those tickets to the Apex cards are $1,000, $2,000, they're ridiculous, right? Because I mean, I know you haven't been there yet, and you should eventually definitely need to go there, but it's super small. It's very, very, man. I don't know if anyone will get this. What do you call it? Fuck me, I'm fucking out of it. We'll get this reference. Key Arena, the Seattle Supersonics used to play. All right, I got to go there one time as a kid. It is very personal. You're literally on top of the court, right? So that's the feeling I get when the Apex. On television, trans shit. It's like 30-day-old milk. It's terrible for viewing audience and stuff like that. But the bitching and complaining about, I hate the fucking Apex, it's because you can't get in there. And it's not a diss. That's not saying you can't afford it. It's that the UFC did a shit job putting that thing together, really, and it was put out together out of necessity. So
I think they're making some renovations to it as well. Yeah,
but WWE's going to be using it too.
For Ribovics, though, he's a guy who's so exciting, and he's somebody that fans will pay money to see.
Dude, put him on the Noche card, bro.
Exactly. And he was on the last one, and people, had a great time watching him. So, yeah. But Eddie, how did you see? You had that one for Ribovics too, right? That was 30-27 across the judges' scorecards. Brenner did good with the jab and leg kicks. Actually outlanded Ribovics to the body and legs there in that contest. But I thought Brenner looked good. I don't think he should go anywhere. He's somebody in the division that should stick around. But yeah, I think Esteban Ribovics, for him moving forward, I want to see him fight a guy who is longer and bigger in the weight class. I mentioned he might be a little small. I want to see him fight Jalen Turner, Bahamondes. Give him one of these guys that are 6 foot and up, and see what he has there at 155, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And again, in terms of give him Noche, put him on Noche. Like,
is Bahamondes booked up for Noche?
I think so. I know he's booked up, or he just fought. Let me see. Ignacio Bahamondes, La Jaula.
Put them against one another?
He just fought in June, so now he's going to be out for another 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Now, he could make September. He can make September. I'm okay with that fight. I think if you offer it, but you'd be kind of, I don't know, man. Put together 2 contenders at 55 this early, it's kind of rough, but it'd be a hell of a fight, I'll tell you that much.
It would. One thing before we get off this card, Eddie, I did really like the performance from Kevin Vallejos, but we have to talk about Neil Magny first. The veteran contender gets a knockout win in the second round over Ezekiel Zaleski dos Santos, a guy who had knocked out Sean Strickland in the past and was a feared striker. Neil Magny really put pressure on this one, made Zaleski fight off the back foot, took the fight to the ground, and did great work there. What'd you make of the performance by Neil, and how long do you think he can continue to stick around at this high level?
People need to put respect on Neil Magny every damn time. Oh, it's over, man. He's old. It's Neil fucking Magny. It's the reason he's lasted this damn long. He knows how to fight. He's got the IQ for it. Excuse me. Overall, great performance by him as well. How long could he keep it going? I mean, he can still keep going and everything. Now, he did catch Dos Santos a little bit, right? Like, he cracked him a few times and he did rock him, but I didn't expect anything out of Dos Santos, really. I mean, I think we both picked. Did we both pick Dos Santos?
We were pretty good on our picks this last week, and I'm trying to look to see if we had any that we actually picked wrong. Did you have Carol Rosa or did you have Nora Cernoli?
I think I had Nora.
Okay, I think I had Carol.
Yeah, she let me down on that one.
But yeah, we were all over these picks. Oh, Chris Duncan was the only one that we didn't pick. We picked Rebecca, but we were 4-1 on the card.
I thought Rebecca was gonna duck his head, throw overhand right, and put him to sleep, but nope.
He almost did. He almost did that first round.
He got close. Like, damn.
Magny could fight all the newcomers and be a gatekeeper. That's
kind
of what he's doing,
3 years, 2 years has been gatekeeper.
Yeah. When you get the top of the spear guys come up like Ian Gary, they'll beat Neil Magny. But when you get the guys like Mike Malott who aren't ready for that, next echelon in the division, Neil will go out there and put on a performance, much like when we saw last weekend. But Eddie, I thought this was a good card. I'm going to give this a higher card rating than some of the other Apex cards that we've had. I think this was an 8.5 when you take everything in terms of consideration. We had some good performances by young guys like Austin Bashi on the prelims, who we'll see in the future. And then with the two wars leading up to the main event, and Tatsuro Taira kind of making a name for himself there in his region of the world in that main event. I think this one's probably an 8.5 for me.
Yeah, I'll give it I saw 7.5, 8. 8, let's go 8. I thought like it was kind of until we got to the Bashi fight, right? Like even the Esteban Bunez fight. And I know, I got to talk to Felipe Bunez and even when I was talking to him, he was talking about, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this dude and I'm gonna call Brandon Moreno. And I'm just like, yeah, have you seen Esteban fight, bro? Because he can go, but all right. And unfortunately, and again, I hate talking about his ages because I'm 39 and I still feel like I'm 25, but still, like he's 35 years old, 36 years old. Is Bunez? It was a hard one to pick. Bashi's, as advertised, dominant, right? Especially on the ground. Now, keep in mind, Onyema did this fight on days' notice. Like he had no notice whatsoever, right? So keep that in mind. But I still think the same thing would have happened.
Tresean Gore needs let go. He's got to get let go.
Well, here's the thing. How many times? Wait, is that once or twice now?
He's 6-4.
He's 6-4. He's 5-4.
Oh, is he?
He's 5-4. But there's the only time he's missed weight.
It says 6-4 on ESPN, but maybe one of his cards was, I don't know. But he looked terrible. He couldn't get it going offensively. When we saw him debut on The Ultimate Fighter in that same class as Brian Battle and Petrosky and all these guys, were like, oh, this is the vicious striker coming up. He reminds us of Uriah Hall. Yeah. And everybody's getting behind him. Then we see this guy. He's not knocking anybody out. He's getting controlled on the ground. I think he might have had an injury or something going into this fight. He looked that bad, Eddie, because he really couldn't get anything going.
He couldn't get moving at all. And the funny thing to me is watching the fight, I was more mad at Vieira than him.
For not finishing him?
For not finishing him. I'm like, dude, he clearly can't move that fucking leg. Like something was wrong with this. He could not literally physically move. The footwork was shit. Ogas can fight. Randy became 100% they can fight. But it's the knowledge, right? Yeah. That's what Magny has over a lot of guys. But I'm assuming that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Bunez is not there. But in terms of Tresean, I would cut him personally, but give him one more shot. Put him in the Apex. Give him one more shot. See what's up. It's like, hey, make weight, dude. If you were injured,
you know what, Eddie? You could demote him. Like treat it like the minor leagues. Throw him to a guy on the Dana White Contender Series, and you're either going home or the guy's getting your contract. So
why not?
Yeah, maybe do something like that. But for Tresean Gore, so here's the thing. You got Rodolfo Vieira, and we just got a comment about age. Rodolfo Vieira is a one-dimensional fighter, and he's kind of up there in age as well, right? This isn't the best years athletically for Vieira. He actually outstruck Tresean Gore in this contest, which is what made me say we got to, end it here, or maybe this is the end of the road for Tresean, is because when you're getting outstruck by an older grappler who's done jiu-jitsu for 25 years before they even started working with their hands, if that, I mean, it was really concerning. But hopefully Tresean Gore can either get back on track or the UFC and him. Well, here's one thing, Eddie, before we get moving on to the news. So we've had a lot of cuts here recently, right? Martin Buday gets cut. Some other guys there get cut. The Tafa brothers stick around. Tai Tuivasa is 400 pounds. Tresean Gore is 6-5, 5-4, whatever his record is. Why do you think some of these guys are getting cut, like Romanov and Buday and Rosenstruck and people with okay records, while they keep around guys who, aren't even 500?
Because they're boring. I don't know. Shit. Like Buday is not the most aesthetically pleasing guy to watch fight, right? Mm-hmm. Like who did he? In fact, I can't even tell you who he fucking fought. I got to look at it, right? So
he just beat Buchecha last weekend.
That's enough. That's all I have to say. Buchecha look like ass, and Buday look like ass fighting him. That's what it is. I mean, honestly, that's what it is. Now, the record, 100. What everyone looked at it like, what the fuck, dude? The dude's like, he's winning. But again, folks, I've been saying this since the UFC sold to Endeavor years ago. Forget everything you know about deserved. Forget everything you know about earned in the UFC. Deserve, learn, delete those vocabulary when it comes to talking about the UFC. That shit is over. Done. It's been done. It's about this. You bring eyes, especially right now in the midst of a freaking TV deal negotiation. Like what if you're Dana White at the table, not doing negotiations, probably Hunter or somebody else. But if you're a Hunter and you go to the table, you're talking to ESPN and Netflix and Amazon Prime and whoever else, and they're like, he's, oh, well, what do you guys got? Well, we got the 7-1 dude. It's like ass when he fights, but he's winning. They're gonna be, yeah, fucking next. What else you got? Do you have Hunter? Do you have John Jones? By the way, we don't have either one. And
yeah,
what do you got? Right. So it's a mess. It's a mess when that, and that's what it is. That's what it's about. Don't worry, folks. All right. Martin Buday will end up at Octagon MMA and put on decent shows.
PFL.
GFL, right? I kept saying I just send these guys to GFL. Yeah. But anyone that send them to GFL, they don't have to make weight because they don't fight. But
you think he'd go to the PFL?
Hell no. I hope not. God, I hope not.
Because that's where Romanov went.
Yeah, Romanov doesn't know any better. He should have gone to fucking Octagon.
He's in their championship. Eddie, how in the world did Romanov recover from that nut shot in Chicago to be back and ready for this championship fight in 2 weeks? This dude, I think, had to have surgery or something.
Or it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, he did.
I'm not calling him a bitch, but
that's the biggest dude I've ever seen stretchered out of a building. I'll tell you that.
Well, fucking shit, boy. I mean, I'm telling you right now, like watching it, the hit, I was like, yeah, it's bad. And the way he went down, yeah, it's bad. If you go down like that and then you pop up like, oh, hey, I'm okay, everyone's gonna be like, oh, he's faking. You better keep your ass down and act like you kill her, motherfucker. All right. So I think that's personally. I don't know. Hope might still be fucked up right now. He's fucking it up because 500K's in line, but still.
Yeah.
No, but when it comes to Martin Buday, take your ass to Octagon. First of all, if you guys haven't watched Octagon MMA, you are fucking up. It is a fun ass show. Like the in-house production, dope. Like the TV production, dope. The fights, dope. The personality, if they spoke English, all doper. All right, it's fucking great product. Watch shit. Martin Buday on there. He ain't gonna win titles, I don't think, but he'll put on some good fights.
All right, fight fans, we got to get into a little bit of news. The UFC came out with another contest for UFC 320. Abus Magomedov will take on Eddie's favorite fighter, Joe Pyfer, in a middleweight contest. I'm really interested in this one, Eddie. I don't think it goes the distance. I think Joe Pyfer is going to go out there and try and just absolutely take the head off of Abus. And Abus has been known to do the same thing in the Sean Strickland fight, one of the only losses for Abus in his UFC career. He went out there, tried to empty the gas tank in round one, and then was obviously not able to continue and gassed out and was taken out from volume by Sean Strickland. But I think this is two finishers, two guys who try and get fights done in the first round, and it's going to be a clash there, at least for the first 5 minutes.
I don't care about Joe Pyfer fighting.
Really? You don't think this is going to be a fun one?
I don't give a fuck if it is.
Damn.
What's he going to do? What's he going to do? Go out there and he's going to go to, what's the hot dog place that you guys have over there? It's like everywhere. In Chicago. Yeah.
Portillo's?
This is in Chicago next week, right?
No. This is the
320?
Herrera and Ankalaev 2, and then
my bad.
Yeah, this is the filler card on the main card for 320, the next one.
All right. Well, then let's go over that. What's he going to do? He's going to go out to a steak place in Vegas. His tummy's going to hurt. He's not going to make the fight. I'm never fighting in Vegas again, bro. Why do they make us do this shit? I couldn't give a fuck. Sack up. That shit, it's like, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I shit on Mexico and the Mexican food and all that. I do not care. All right. Literally do not care. Great. Cool. You don't want to go to a country? Great. They don't want you either. It doesn't matter. You don't want to go overseas? Great. Don't. No one gives a fuck. You ain't gonna be no champion like that. They put title fights all over the world.
Yeah, if you're gonna pull out of a fight, just say, yo, I have food poisoning. I can't make it. It is what it is.
My problem is, dude, I'm a dumbass. I cooked 14 out of 15 meals. I'm an idiot. Apparently somehow didn't know better. Ate some shit that my body was not used to for these last how many ever weeks. And I got a tummy ache and I can't fight. Okay, I'm not calling him he's a fucking tough motherfucker. I'm not calling him weak. He's a hell of a fighter. He's fun as hell to watch. What I don't like is the whole like
blaming the country of
no, not even the country. Do not care. I honestly do not care about the country part. It does not bother me. What I like is the excuses, right? It's the excuses. Oh, I got food poisoning. I'm never doing this. Okay, cool. Fucking just shut the fuck up, dude. Like I'm not saying he should have fought that night. It's just don't blame everybody else for it when it's your ass. You chose to eat the bullshit. Look, me personally, I'm lactose intolerant, okay? My stomach can't handle it. I'm old. My body can't handle a lot of shit, but milk is one of them, okay? If before this show, if earlier today, I texted you and I was like, hey, man, we're good for the show, whatever, okay? And I went and had a fucking milkshake. Whose fault is that? And my tummy hurts? Whose fault is that?
Yours.
I haven't had a milkshake dairy in fucking forever. If my ass was out, does it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Take responsibility for yourself. Blaming everybody else, but you fucked up and ain't some bullshit. So that's why I could give a shit about Joe Piper. Outside of that, for at least one round, Joe Piper's gonna try and kill this dude.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a good fight, though. It's gonna be a good fight, like entertainment wise, at least. These guys are both fast starters.
100%. So it's gonna be a good first round at least. Then after they gas out.
Yeah,
hey Joe, don't go out to eat, please. Please don't do that. Okay? Because we would hate to be like, oh, fucking Vegas. Like, no, stop. Take responsibility for your fuck ups. That was your fuck up, nobody else's.
Well, Eddie, normally we have outlets break news, but Khabib Nurmagomedov seemed to break news in his own right. He kind of came out and said, clarified that Jack and Islam is going to be happening at Madison Square Garden in an interview, and then also stated that Umar is going to be taking on Mario Batista in a 5-round contest later this year. What do you think about those two matchups? Obviously, we knew about Islam and Jack. The more surprising news there is the location for MSG. Thought that might be Tom versus Ciryl Gane. According to Khabib, it could be them at MSG, but you never know. The UFC could switch it around because he said this and, do a fuck you and give it to Tom and them. But it sounds like Khabib is saying MSG, Islam and Jack, and then later in the year, Umar versus Mario Batista. What do you think of that news?
I think John Jones threw a giant-ass wrench into the UFC's plans. MSG is John Jones' spot. That would have been the only place you could take Jones Aspinall. You couldn't take that anywhere else, right? In terms of that, so it's a good spot for Islam JDM, honestly. I don't know where else you would put that, right? Like, could you switch Ciryl Gane and Aspinall, put them on there and take Islam and JDM to Abu Dhabi? Absolutely could, okay? But then you would bore the shit out of the New York fans because Ciryl Gane ain't shit. He ain't fun. Although he does have stand-up games, so maybe this will be fun. Anyway, yeah, either way, it doesn't really fucking matter. But I think it's a good spot for that. What was the other fight? Batista and who?
Batista and Umar Nurmagomedov.
Another fight I could give a shit about.
Batista's on like a 9-fight win streak.
Sir.
He's like you remember when Bilal Muhammad had to go on like that 10, 11 fight win streak to go to get the welterweight title? Now, no one ever was like writing home about a Bilal Muhammad fight, but he's a very similar stylistic fighter to Batista. And Batista's on a similar win streak to what Muhammad was, taking on guys that, maybe people thought were better than him, but he had to prove himself to get to the point where he's at now. Do you think that Batista could get it done against Nurmagomedov?
No.
I don't either.
I don't. I mean, what do we see with Batista? I'm going to put you up against the cage. Who does that better than Batista? Umar.
Yeah.
Fucking Umar.
I think it's a striking matchup.
And who does it better than both those guys? Merab,
yep.
Why are we even playing, dude? Like, fuck. Show me something different. Stand up with him. Like now, you said,
between those two guys striking.
If it's a stand-up fight, who are you picking?
What were you saying?
If it's a stand-up fight, like you were saying, who are you picking?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it comes down to where these two grapplers nullify each other, Batista can't take Umar down. Umar finds takedowns in spots or can't take Batista down. It's going to be a striking contest like we've seen in the past with Covington and Usman and other wrestlers and grapplers against one another. So I think that Umar right now is probably a little bit better in the striking than Mario Batista, but Mario Batista looked good against Patchy Mix. Eddie, he was cracking him in the face. He made the head movement of Patchy Mix look he made him look ordinary. We were really high on Mix, as were a lot of other people. And Mario Batista really showed out in that fight. And everybody's been on him since the Jose Aldo fight. But he kind of had to do what he had to do in that fight against a really elite striker in Jose Aldo, with wealth of experience in that contest. I don't know. Mario Batista on paper is not the most exciting fighter in the world, but I think that it is a good matchup and will be competitive at least.
It'll be competitive, but it's like, again, it's unless you guys can show you can beat Maravashvili, like, show me something. You got to me with this fight. Look, I'll give you this. In this fight, this is their opportunity, both of these guys, to show I should be next for Marav. Even though Umar already lost to Marav, right? Yeah,
I think so too. Now, moving on here, Eddie, before we get into the PFL from last week, Brock Lesnar made his return at WWE SummerSlam. I don't know. I don't really watch WWE. I'm sure you don't watch WWE either. I don't know if your kids do, but it was trending on Twitter. I'm sure we both saw it in the same place online. Everybody was talking about it. Brock Lesnar came back. Looks like the dude hasn't done any cardio and has just been hitting the gym. He looked really big. What did you think about Brock coming back? And obviously his MMA days are behind him, but athletically, he still looked like he's in pretty decent shape.
I didn't see any of it. I heard. I was thinking, what was I doing? I was doing something else, and I didn't even know SummerSlam was on. Like, and I know ESPN just came out with the whole shit about signing with WWE and all that stuff. Yeah. They're gonna jack at the press and everything. Great. I'm just like, could we opt out? Because I don't watch. The only thing I ever watch is Rumble and WrestleMania. Why? Because all the old guys come back. That's the only thing I give a shit about. But
there you
go. But fucking my brain just went shit.
Speaking of that deal, that was the next topic I was going to get to.
Right, so, we'll get. But let me. I'm Brock Lesnar real quick.
Yeah.
The balls to put a guy that's part of the McMahon fucking lawsuit, right, for what he's been accused of doing, which we're not going to tell you because YouTube will strike us immediately. The balls to do that. Okay. Like the WWE is clearly getting away from that. What do they call it? The PG era or whatever. Whatever. They're trying to get back to more of the because he's a fucking roid head. That's why. But
I think if Brock Lesnar would have started at 19 years old, or right after Minnesota, right before the Olympic trials, when he was like 23, 24, that first stint in WWE, if he was into Ultimate Fighting at the time or MMA, he'd have been pretty freaking good. Like he'd have had a really good career.
How many times do you think he pisses hot?
Every single time, but so was Josh Barnett and all those dudes back then too.
Yeah, but Josh Barnett has a personality. Brock doesn't.
That's true. That would have been a good fight, though. That would have been a good fight, low-key.
Right. Brock developed hey, what's up, Jake? Brock developed a personality as he got older. I don't know if you remember, because I was still in and out of WWE when he first got in there. And I was like, okay, giant white dude. Now, what do we got? That's the thing. That was the thing. You know who ever spoke for him? The fucking fat chubby white guy. What's his name?
Paul Heyman.
Thank you. Paul Heyman. He used to speak for him, right? And to the point where even now, I mean, up until recently, they still had him with Paul Heyman because Brock Lesnar can't talk in the fucking microphone.
How old is he, Eddie? Is he 50 yet?
Who cares? No, let me find out.
I'm trying to see if he's got another fight.
He is. You know what he is? Too old to be on fucking steroids. Your ass is like, what was it? I think The Rock just came out saying he has heart fucking issues because of all the roids he's taking. Now, he didn't say roids, but he's still 48 years old.
48. Yeah, he's getting up.
But in wrestling, all these guys still do. I mean, fucking Hulk Hogan was doing it until he was 60.
Yeah, that's true. These guys' hearts give out pretty quick, most of them. But what we were going to talk about here was the Netflix deal, the ESPN deal, right? So the UFC and WWE are both going to be home on Netflix. Is this on ESPN Plus? Is this just pay-per-view events for the WWE and pay-per-view events for the UFC, or can fans still catch those fight night cards there as well?
I have no clue, dude. The UFC deal hasn't been done yet, obviously. They're still doing WWE. Yeah. They were just WWE. The UFC is going to be – here's the thing about it, and you tell me what you think about this, because this is what we've been on the Slack chat and been going back and forth about. WWE is no longer doing pay-per-views, right? They stopped that. Boxing is on its way out of pay-per-views, okay? If you're the UFC, are you going to be that asshole, the only one sticking it to their own fans for $80 fucking? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think happened?
Yeah, so here's the thing, though, because I have mentioned on this show previously that I thought there should be like a season pass or a season ticket, right? Like NFL. What's the NFL one they do? Not Red Zone, Sunday Ticket. If they had a thing where like me and you could pay $300, maybe to $500, and we would get every single pay-per-view event on, maybe it's the UFC app, maybe it's ESPN Plus, but we get every single pay-per-view no matter what. You just have to pay one fee of, say it's $399 plus tax.
For the year?
I would do that. I would just go ahead
for the
and
year?
Yeah, a year.
I'm okay with that. Honestly, if you give me ESPN Plus with fuck that baby. I don't want that shit. But if it was the UFC, right, with no pay-per-views, $40 a month even. Right now they're jacking up to $30 a month if you want the WWE on there, right? But if you put it at like $35-$40 a month and I get UFC and I don't have to pay pay-per-views, I pay that. You can forget about it. Now a lot of people are still going to stream it, whatever. But right now,
they should make a TKO season pass.
That dude, it's just I don't understand what they're again like all these moves that they're making, right? Is to get money in. If they had the money already, like UFC Fight Pass would be the only place you would go to. The problem is it's not there right now, folks. We have a lot of just like smoke and mirrors of we're fucking doing great. We're making the most money. They are, and they're paying the fighters shit, and we all know that, right? But the money's coming because the ESPN deal is a set amount, right? for a certain amount of events, right? That's what we're at the Apex a bunch. Everyone wants to bitch about the Apex. The reason it's there is because they need more events. Okay. Otherwise, I argue the UFC should do event every other week at best, personally, right? Yeah. And so, but it is what it is, man. It's all about money. It's how it goes. And so we'll get fucked in this deal, 100%. The view, like it always happens that way, right? It's either this shit, and they go, you still got to pay us this much for ESPN Plus. You still got to pay pay-per-view, or you have a clown going, yeah, tariffs aren't going to fuck your shit up, even though they're fucking everyone's shit up, and all kinds of shit. They don't give a fuck about us. The consumer is the one that pays that foots the bill every time.
Yeah, I mean, at least for me, if the WWE is on there and you're not paying for WWE pay-per-views and you're not paying for Raw or SmackDown or whatever their shows are, and it's all there, and the UFC's there, and I don't have to pay for pay-per-views at all with the UFC.
Who doesn't do it?
I will do the monthly fee. I'll do the 30, 40, whatever you want. But if you're going to sit here nickel and dime me and only give me the fight nights for UFC and then WWE, I don't care enough about WWE to sit here and float a bill for $40 a month just to watch the fight nights for the UFC.
Let's go. Dynamic Festival was a better sponsor. Nah, hey, Dude Wipes is goated.
Dude Wipes
is goated. I bought wipes because honestly, no. Hey, I shit you not. Okay, I know Dude Wipes or like, what do they call it? Like, they're like wipies for like adults. Okay, fucking worth it. Try it.
Yeah, I'm mostly for older people. I think for like grandparents and stuff. But
fuck that. I'm 39. Shit. I don't give a fuck. No shame in my.
All right, Eddie, we did have a PFL card from Atlantic City. Jake Noacker, who was just in the chat with us and commented, was there covering the event for a couple different outlets. And then we also had Pat Dana there on site as well, covering it for Cageside Press. Eddie, what did you think about really the only fights that anybody was talking about was the main and co-main event, right? Jesus Pinedo and Movlid Khabibulaev, and then the main event, Logan Storley and Thad Gene. Thad Gene, Eddie, he came into this one as an alternate. This is a great story for the PFL. We've been talking about the PFL all year, not necessarily having names. They're building them this year with Costello Von Steenis, Thad Gene, maybe Dalton Rasta in Miami. We'll have to see if he gets that dub over Fabian Edwards. That's another, loud talking person that gets eyes on their product and is a good fighter as well as Dalton Rasta. But Thad Gene is the future of the welterweight division here for the PFL if he can get past the Russians. Here's the thing with me. Can he beat Umlatov? Can he beat Kuramagomedov? And can he beat Shamil Musayev? In my opinion, the best three guys in the PFL roster in their welterweight 170 pounds were not in the tournament this year. And three of the best guys on the entire PFL roster, because those guys, in my opinion, can compete in the UFC right now, especially Shamil Musayev. So what did you think about Thad Gene's win over Logan Storley? I kind of saw that coming. We both kind of did. We predicted it. We thought he'd get a knockout. He almost knocked him out. Logan hung tough, was able to take Thad Gene down at times. But Thad is such a good athlete. He has such great hips. He's able to get back to his feet and really just use pure athleticism. Eddie, it didn't look like those were the most technical get-ups in the world. It looked like he more times than not Bruce strengthed his way back up, and Logan just couldn't keep him down.
That to me was just him being a weight bully, right? So not weight bully, size bully. He's a big dude. He said when they stood in front of each other, I was like, holy shit, that is like big compared to him, right? So that was a lot. I had a lot to do with that. I thought Logan would be able to control him a little better on the ground, but props to that Gene being that strong. Now, give him someone his size that can wrestle, and that's not that easy, right? Here's the thing about guys like Dalton Rasta, guys like the loudmouths, right? Dalton Rasta's loud as shit, 100%. What does he give you in terms of substance? Fucking nothing. Who else is loud in the Jason Jackson, as much as I like him, says a lot of nothing, right?
Yeah.
The future of the PFL is Thad Gene. Okay, loud, but has substance, has a brain, knows how to market, knows how to push, knows how to like. He's
got a little bit of a Floyd Mayweather to him, to where people kind of want to tune in to see him lose too.
Lose or win, either way, right? Yeah. So the future of the PFL is Thad Gene and Dakota Decheva, and I fully believe Don Davis is going to fuck that up. I hope not. I really got come on, dude. Like, I don't know if you ever read the story of the Bible, right? When the dude's like people are like, hey man, come with us, we'll save you. He goes, no, save me. 3 boats came by, 2 drowns. And he goes, hey man, what happened? I thought you were gonna save me. I sent you 3 fucking boats, man. You didn't jump on any of those shits. Gone. Boat, get on this motherfucker. You're going to drown the PFL. So this is a giant fucking like cruise size boat named Thad Jean, Dakota Cheva. Jump on it, market him right, stop putting him in Africa or putting him somewhere no one wants to watch them, and let's go. Build here. That's the game. But no, Thad Jean, full package.
Yeah, he is. I think he's the full package. But Eddie, he's running in maybe. If he fights Michel Moussaiev, he might be running into the best guy outside the UFC.
And I want to see it. I want to see the fight.
I do too. And I don't know if he wins. That's the thing. We're talking about how good Thad Jean is. And in my opinion, Thad Jean athletically is the best fighter maybe outside of the UFC. As a pure athlete, he's somebody who could be a safety in the NFL. He's 6'2", probably walks around at about 200 pounds. When he's not cutting weight. I mean, he's a big guy, especially for 170 pounds. Now, is he going to be able to do it against a guy as ferocious and technical as Moussaiev or as experienced and technical as Magomed Umatov? I don't know. Those are the matchups that I really want to see. And those guys are also elite grapplers who might be able to control him on the ground and have more submissions and ground and pound when it gets there than maybe Logan Storley does.
So the thing with that, luckily it's not boxing. Luckily when Baby Rumble. Oh, Anthony.
Yeah.
He's pretty hard, 100%. But what was I going to say? No, when it comes to, luckily it's not boxing. If you lose, it's not the end of the world. You can make something happen, right? If Thad Jean loses, it's not going to be Johnny Eblin talking about like, it was a fluke, he got lucky. It won't be that. It will be like, okay, cool. I'm going to come back. I'm going to whoop your ass, though. I'm coming back, but I'm going to whoop your ass, all right? Could he lose against those guys 100%? But that's what you want to see out of a guy, right? Because what are they going to do? They're going to do throw a can at him again? Throw a can.
That's what I'm saying. Is that what the PFL is going to do? Are they going to do like what they're doing with Dakota and throw her in Naba and throw him like, I don't know, some dude who's just been recycled from Bellator that we're forgetting about? Like he's going to be fighting Ed Ruth or somebody, but I don't know. I think I think he's got to fight the top of the spear guys out there like Umatov and Shamil Moussaiev and Kuramagomedov because the welterweight division is stacked in the PFL. It's their best division. It's their best division, in my opinion.
It'll be PFL Somalia. PFL Mogadishu is going to be fucking Thad Jean and Inaba. I'm telling you right now because that's the creative mind of Don Davis. That guy's a clown. Anyway, but and you know what's funny? Because someone watched one of our two or three of our shows and said, "Do you fucking hate the PFL?" I do not. I want to do well.
Constructive criticism.
Right. But at that point, constructive criticism turns into clowning after a while when we're constantly like, dude, you have an opportunity to do something better. Okay, he missed it. All right, cool. All right, the shot. Why is Dakota in Africa? Right?
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing?
Where's Francis?
Yeah, where's Francis?
How much money have we paid Jake?
Literally just like over and over again. After a while, we're going to funny you because you
but we give them their flowers when it's due. We were talking about building the star with that Gene. We were as complimentary as anybody was in that Costello von Steenis and Africa card. Leading into 100%. It, we didn't necessarily like who was on it, but as a product of what we watched, we thought it was one of the best cards that PFL produced all year.
Yeah. That's the thing. I do not hate the PFL. I just don't respect how they're fucking working it. They're not. There's a lot of good people. Look, you and I both know people that work for PFL that are great fucking people. Like, push them. We don't need another executive. Why do you need an executive for the bathroom? What the fuck are we doing with this? Like every other day, we just got another email, another fucking press release. Like we hired someone to be fucking head of PFL Latin America or some shit. I'm like, fucking who cares?
Yeah, general manager.
Give me the press release. Yeah, give me the press release of who Francis is fighting next. Give me the press release of Jake Paul's first MMA fight, which will never happen, by the way. That's never going to happen. Just forget it.
He should fight Mayhem Miller in his first MMA fight.
Who, Jake?
Jake should fight Jason Mayhem Miller.
It'll at least be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. It'd be like the season finale of Bully Beatdown.
Yeah. God, that was the funniest. God, I used my ass off. Anyway, but here's some free game for Don Davis. Here you go, Don. Okay, this is right. But Jake's gonna view whatever this fucking day. PFL fucking middle of nowhere. Great. On a fucking shit.
PFL Charlotte coming at you in a week.
Yeah, right. PFL.
No, it is. They're in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, it's coming. No. Do PFL oil rig, right? Do PFL oil rig in the middle of the craziest like fucking sea storm, right? You get in there. Jake Paul is a walk. Okay, gets in the what is it called, the smart cage, whatever they're doing these days. They get in the cage. with a surprise opponent and just have Dan stand up like, that gets is fucking me and get in there. And you know who wins that fight? Dan. For sure. But like, there you go. Free game if you want to be crazy. Jake versus Logan, real fight debut.
No, I think you got to go with Jason Mayhem Miller. The dude still trains. He's in shape. He's got a name in MMA. He'd be enough of a challenge to where you could say, oh, he's in jiu-jitsu and black belt, but Jake could probably beat him.
Calling it right now. Michael Chan loses his next fight, gets cut, joins the PFL. He calls out Jake Paul. Jake Paul, beat me if you can. See
me on the bottom.
See me on the bottom. Yeah, geez.
But that would be we had another. One. I'm sorry. What were you saying, Eddie?
That would be some sad.
We had another matchup here between Movlid Khabalayev and Jesus Pinedo. Quickly, Movlid Khabalayev stays undefeated with Team Khabib over there. Khabib was in attendance at the PFL fight. Khabalayev looked fantastic, man. Nobody's beaten Jesus Pinedo up like that in the PFL. Took him down really for 4 rounds and just beat the brakes off him, Eddie. So how impressed were you with Movlid Khabalayev? And do you need to see him in the UFC at this point? Because he's ran through everybody in the PFL for 145, other than Timur Khizriev, who won last year, who actually just got shot. So I don't know when he'll be back, but he just actually got shot about 4 or 5 times. So
I think Pinedo has a better shot being in the UFC than Movlid.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because of entertainment?
They just cut Martin Buday for being boring, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But if you're undefeated,
hey, no.
Khabib behind him, you know?
Yeah. But Martin Buday at heavyweight, at UFC heavyweight, got cut for being boring. Yeah. The fuck are they gonna do to a guy that's boring as shit at 55, 45? Not gonna happen. So, now it happened absolutely. You know, just like you said, all this thing, you can push for
him versus Merab, if you think about it, or him versus the guys at 145 pounds. Like they're not. It's decent fights.
Movlid was fun. He's overall he's solid, and he has a stand-up game. He just doesn't show because he doesn't need to, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. The UFC's in such a weird spot right now, dude. They're going for like trying to get entertaining fights and all that. Otherwise, have to be Russians.
Yeah, honestly. I think him versus Merab or versus Volk, either of those weight classes would be decent. He's only 5'7" or 5'6", I think. Movlid Khabalayev is.
For Zeev at 55, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, he could fight in any of the 3 of those weight classes with his style, honestly.
I just think you have a better chance of getting Jesus Pinedo in the UFC because he's fun.
Yeah, he's got like 19 knockouts on his record.
Yeah. Movlid, great game plan, perfectly executed, didn't take any damage, I don't think, and he bladed the shit out of Jesus, man.
So do you see him just like riding off into the sunset, Movlid? Like he's a historically great fighter, but he's outside the UFC. He doesn't necessarily get the roses that other fighters would, given his record at 23-0. I
mean, you can't throw that guy to the contender series. That's kind of disrespectful, right? But if you put him, I think he to the UFC. I think he could get there. You're right off the Khabib push, and the fact that you know fresher names and shit like that. But he's got to be like what he was against Jesus every fight, dominant, bloody the motherfucker up.
Yeah, it can't be the stuff where like he's just controlling a guy. Right. I mean, this was at least an entertaining fight, and honestly, a lot of it was due to the toughness of Jesus Pinedo, who fought through some adversity there, and just he's just so mean and so tough and determined. He was trying to hurt Movlid by any way he could. But all right, fight fans, we got a little bit of predictions this weekend. Another fight card, I believe, from the Apex between between Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy Hernandez, and Roman Dolidze. Hernandez comes into this one at 14-2, while Roman Dolidze is 15-3 in this middleweight division showcase bout. Eddie, what do you think about this one? I'm going to go with Anthony Fluffy Hernandez in this one. I think that the grappling is going to pretty much nullify each other, and he's going to be the faster fighter on the feet and also be able to put more volume on Roman Dolidze, who, in my opinion, will have a punching power advantage in this one, but that's about it. I think he's going to be a little bit too slow for Hernandez on the feet and not really able to take him down on the ground.
Real quick, sorry. Everyone has until their balls get hot, 100%. Fluffy, cardio machine. Fluffy's going to put it on. Pace is going to be crazy, and he's going to gas Dolidze out. We've seen Dolidze get tired of shit, right? Because Dolidze goes for knockouts. Now, at least it's smart. The game plan changed a little bit. Okay, cool. Around 50% or 50%ers, you know, just gauge, see what Fluffy moves like and everything. If you see your spot, boom, go for it. But don't go ape shit, knock him out every swing. That's not who Roman Dolidze really is. I think he's gonna come in trying to kill him, and Fluffy's gonna drown him. Him in 4 or 5 rounds. It is what it is. I don't think it'll be a finish, but I think it'll be like a drowning. It'll be fucking.
I'm in the same boat as you. I think that Dolidze is a different fighter in 3-round fights than he is in 5-round fights. 100%. He puts the gas tank or puts the pedal on the metal there in the 3-round fights and tries to get finishes to an extent that he can't necessarily do in the 5-round fights, because there's going to be that 4th and 5th round and he's not going to have that gas tank. A lot of times in those 3-round fights, he pushes that pace through the first 2 and kind of fades. And even in that 3rd round, we saw that in the Vettori fight, the first one. So I've got Anthony Fluffy Hernandez in this one by decision, Eddie. And if he got a late TKO by volume, like you're saying, and he drowns him, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah. Fluffy by decision, probably.
Yeah. All right, fight fans. What is the odds on that one, Eddie? Do you have that pulled up potentially?
I forgot to pop that up here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Odds on that fight are not on here. In fact, no odds are on the website whatsoever.
I will pull them up now because they've got to have something here on FanDuel.
Yeah, pull up something anyway. But
let's see
up here.
They have -350 for Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Roman Dolidze is +270. I think those are pretty reasonable odds. I think the odds makers got that one right. I think Hernandez is probably a 3-1 favorite there.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Moving on down the card here to the co-main event. We kind of had a last-minute change of scenery here. Park, who was in the main event of last weekend's Apex card, was supposed to be fighting Steve Erceg this week, now replaced by Ode Osborne, who, Eddie, to be frank, has struggled at times against elite competition. I think this is a must-win for Steve Erceg, who's coming off a loss in his last contest. In the Kai Kara France fight, he looked really bad, right? He got knocked out in that one, and he was moments away from winning the title against Alexandre Pantoja in their contest. Had a late, fumbled it in that 5th round late in that contest and got taken down. But Ode Osborne, in my opinion, is not going to be able to submit Steve Erceg where he does his best work on the ground. And Steve Erceg is going to be really long and just have too many tools for him on the feet.
Oh, it is coming in on short notice, right? That he didn't get moved?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, dude, Steve should be able to win this. It's set up Steve to win this fight. Steve, if you lose this fight, game.
He might get cut. If he loses this fight, dude, he might be gone.
You can't lose a fight like this on short notice. Not on short notice. If Ode comes in and win, if Ode loses, he's coming off a win. Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. But he's doing the UFC a solid in this one. But Steve should win this. Should.
Betting odds in this one, -600 for Steve Erceg, +400 for Ode Osborne. I'm going to take Steve Erceg in this one by knockout. What was that, Eddie? Sorry.
No. I was going to say, that's the odds?
Yeah, 6-1.
I'm not a better man, but I would put somewhere like a couple bucks on Ode on that one.
Really?
I don't trust Steve Erceg to do it to really do anything. Like, I think he should win this, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, I'll put a ban on. No, I wouldn't. Yeah. I would put like $5 on Ode and be like, hey, watch him win the shit.
Yeah, so Ode has been knocked out 2 times previously, but Steve Erceg's on a 3-fight losing streak, right? Now, those 3 fights are against Moreno, Kai Kara France, like we mentioned, and then the champion, Alexandre Pantoja. So if he loses to a guy who stepped down in competition in Ode Osborne, it's going to be very concerning. Mm-hmm. So obviously, odds makers are going with Steve Erceg. I'm going to go with Steve Erceg by knockout. Is that how you see it too, Eddie?
No, it'll be decision.
Decision?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a change of opponent. Steve's going to change his strategy. Ode's going to give him different kind of problems. He's going to have to figure things out on the fly. Personally, that's what I think.
So then, Eddie, we do have a matchup between 2 women, veterans of the sport, Asmin Luciendo and Angela Hill. Angela Hill has been around for the entirety of my watching of the UFC since I was about 12 years old. And is she in I think she's in over – here's the thing. Luciendo hits hard, right? And she's going to come at Angela Hill. Angela Hill she reminds me of Neil Magny, but for the women, right? She's very long. She's technical. She fights from the outside well, uses her jab, uses her leg kicks. But I think Luciendo is going to be a little bit too much of a physical force in this one. Can the experience of Hill get a victory? Absolutely. You can never count out Angela Hill, and she can win any fight by decision. She's very smart, very technical. I'm going to go with Luciendo in this one by decision, though.
Yeah, no, I'm listening on that. And I like Anne Hill. Like as a person,
Yeah, I do too.
Cool. She's dope as fuck, dude. She's awesome. I don't know if you guys watched the Two Straws podcast with her and
Jessica Penne.
Penne, thank you. Solid. It's a solid listen on the drive to work or whatever. But and she has that know-how. She could win this fight. I don't see it, but she could.
So, Eddie, there are two more contests on here that we got to talk about, a couple fan-friendly matchups. Andre Fili versus Christian Rodriguez. The prospect killer, Christian Rodriguez, fights Andre Fili in this one, who's always in entertaining matchups. But, Eddie, honestly, Christian Rodriguez is a guy who fights to his level of competition, in my opinion. When he fights the guys like Raul Rosas Jr. or the other prospects that he has turned back in the past, he can fight to that level of competition. He can take your 0 if you're Austin Bashi. He can take your 0 if you're, Raul Rosas Jr., but he can also lose to you if you're Julian Erosa. So, he's had a couple losses that are alarming as well. I'm going to take Christian Rodriguez in this one. I think he's going to win by knockout or points. I'm going to probably favor knockout. But what do you think about this matchup, Eddie? And would you be surprised if Andre Fili got it done?
Surprised? No. C-Rod's good. But you're right. He played. Now I think Andre Fili's better, right? More experience and everything. But Andre Fili gets in his own head pretty quick, so it's something to keep an eye on. I got Andre in this one, man. I like C-Rod a lot, by the way. I like C-Rod a lot, and you're right. He's a killer, 100%. But he just once he gets in there, he's kind of
I really see him. It's like he's fighting to the level of the comp. It's like a football team where you see like Ohio State go on the road and they're playing Indiana or somebody, and it's like a 7-7 game at halftime. And you're like, why are they even like on the same plane at the same level as this team?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. We'll see what happens, but I got Andre in this one.
I gotta assume the odds are pretty close in this one comparatively to the other ones. You don't have them there, do you?
I don't.
The odds in this one are. Yeah, they are. Minus 250 for Christian Rodriguez, plus 200 for Andre Fili. So you can go and triple your money there if you
go
on Andre Fili. But, Eddie, moving down the card here, I think this is actually the fight with the most talent on it coming this weekend. Miles Johns takes on Gene Matsumoto. The Brazilian contender Matsumoto is 16-1. Going to be facing well-rounded grappler and also the heavy-handed Miles Johns. Johns is a guy who doesn't necessarily win pretty all the time, but he gets wins. And Matsumoto is somebody who is coming off the first loss of his career, wants to get back in the win column, but he's going to have to do so against a vet who's seen almost everybody there is to see.
Matsumoto, he's a young guy, right? Pretty young.
Let me look up the ages here.
Let's see. Oh, 25. Okay, 25. Let me see what Miles is. Miles is
31 for Miles
31.
Johns.
Okay, so both pretty young still. Okay.
Split decision loss for Matsumoto against Rob Font.
Yeah, you can't have that against. You can't have split decisions against Rob Font. All respect to Rob Font.
Okay? The current state of Rob Font, at least.
Right. But all respect to Rob Font. Rob Font's not elite, and so split decision against Rob Font tells me you're probably not going to do awesome against Miles Johns. You're not going to finish him, right? Yeah. And Miles Johns, he has know-how. He knows how to get things done and everything, how to get the job done. So I think it'll be an ugly fight. Miles Johns gets it by decision probably.
That's exactly what I was going to pick. I think he's just too experienced for the young kid, but I think this has a potential to be a very good fight, and both of these fighters are going to stick around in the UFC for quite a while, especially with Matsumoto being young in age.
Yeah.
All right, fight fans, that's what we got for you this week. The UFC will be at the Apex in Las Vegas for this main event between Roman Dolidze and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. We will be back here on Wednesday at 7 p.m. to bring you guys any breaking news and recaps from the fight night card. There will also be Eddie, are you leaving for Chicago next week?
Bro, we'll be in the same city on Wednesday night.
Yeah, we will. Fuck, should we do a live one?
We could. We have to figure it out how to do it, but we could.
Yeah, at a bar?
the internet, the will be ass 100%. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about. I get in on Tuesday. I get in Tuesday late, and then so my kid can still go to class or because they're with me. But I'm fucking saying this on the internet. But I'll be the Tuesday night late and early up on media day. The rest of media day, the rest of Wednesday is gonna be open. So we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out.
All right, fight fans, we might have something cool scheduled for you next Wednesday. If not, we'll be back here and talk about the biggest fight card of the year, UFC 319 in Chicago, Illinois. Hamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis. We're very excited for it. We're going to be on site there for that one in Chicago. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll catch you next week.
Go Cardinals.